Writing and solving equations. An airplane 30,000 feet above the ground begins descending at a rate of 2,000 feet per minute. Assume that the plane continues at the same rate of descent. The plane's height and minutes above the ground are related to each other. Write an equation to show the altitude, which is just the plane's height, of the plane A after m minutes. So that means A is going to stand for altitude, and m is going to stand for minutes. So my altitude is equal to, well, the plane's height was 30,000 feet in the air, and it's descending, so descending means going down at a rate of 2,000 feet per minute. So let's answer the questions. It says, what is the altitude after 10 minutes? So I'm looking for the altitude, and I know that 10 is what I'm going to put in place of minutes. So the altitude is going to equal 30,000 minus 2,000 times 10, which, if I do that math, is 10,000 feet. So the next one says, how many minutes does it take for the plane to land? Well, the plane to land would be at 0 feet. So when the altitude is at 0 feet, how many minutes did that take? So that means I need to solve for m. So that means subtracting 30,000 from both sides. And then dividing each side by negative 2,000. So it looks like it took 15 minutes for the plane to land. All right, let's look at the next one. Nick has $500 in a savings account at the beginning of the summer. He wants to have at least $200 in the account by the end of the summer. He withdraws $25 each week for food, clothes, and movie tickets. Write an inequality to represent the amount Nick wants to have in his savings account after W weeks. So I know I want W to be weeks. So let's write an inequality. He has $500 in his account right now. He wants to take away, or he's withdrawing, $25 each week. And he wants to have at least $200 left in the account. So at least would be a greater than or equal to sign. So then it says, how many weeks can Nick withdraw money from the savings account? So that means I want to know how many weeks before he gets to $200. So 500 minus 25W is greater than or equal to 200. So that just means I need to solve for W. So I subtract 500 from both sides. And then divide by negative 25. Now remember, when I divide by a negative number, what happens to my sign? It flips. So I get the number of weeks has to be less than 12. So W has to be less than or equal to 12. So less than 12 weeks or equal to 12 weeks until he needs to stop withdrawing money. All right, let's look at the next one. Together, a football and basketball cost $65. A football costs $5 more than half of what a basketball costs. How much does the football cost? So let's first decide what we want our letters to be. I'm going to let F be football and B be the basketball. It says together the price of one football and one basketball is equal to $65. And then it says the football is equal to $5 more, so I know more means plus 5. And then it says then half of what the basketball costs. So that'd be a half times B. So now that I have two equations, we can solve. It looks like I have a, when we solve two equations, I know I'm solving a system. So I either have to do it by graphing or elimination method or substitution. I'm going to do this one substitution. So I am going to put F equals 1/2 B plus 5 over here, and then F plus B equals 65 over here. So I know what F equals, so I'm going to take it and plug it in for the letter F. So this is now a half B plus 5 plus B equals 65. So if I combine my like terms, I have 1.5B plus 5 equals 65. And now I just have to solve for B. So I would subtract 5. Well, let me rewrite this because I ran out of room. So I'd have to subtract 5 from both sides. And I get 1.5b equals 60. And then 60. And then I would divide by 1.5. So it looks like the cost of the basketball is $40. So then I take that back and plug it in either place. It can be in this equation or this one. But if I do it over here, F is equal to a half times 40 plus 5. So half of 40 is 20 plus 5 would give me 25 for the cost of the football. Let's look at the last one. Chris has $5 in change in his pocket of just quarters and nickels. He has a total of 32 coins. How many nickels and how many quarters does Chris have? So let's let N be our number of nickels. And let's let Q be our quarters. So let's write two equations. I know that the nickels plus the quarters has to equal 32 because that's the total number of coins he has. And I know that nickels are worth 5 cents and quarters are worth 25 cents. And if we add those together, it should be the $5 in his pocket. So this equation looks like it'd be perfect for elimination. That means I add the two equations together and get something to eliminate. Well, right now there's like nothing that's going to eliminate because none of the numbers in front of the N or in front of the Q are the same. So I'm going to take this top equation and multiply it by 0.05. So that gives me 0.05 N plus 0.05 Q, and then 32 times 0.05 is 1.6. So then I subtract the two equations because 0.05 nickels minus 0.05 nickels will give me nothing. And then 0.05 minus 0.25 gives me negative 0.2 quarters equals 1.6 minus 5 gives you negative 3.4. So when you divide by negative 0.2, you get that the number of quarters is 17. So I have 17 quarters. So now that I'm finished with that, I put the number of quarters in for one of these equations. Now I'm going to put it in for the top one because it looks a little bit nicer. So the number of nickels plus 17 quarters should equal 32 coins. So when I subtract 17 in order to solve, I get that the number of nickels is 15.